In this video, I want to address the topic of how often you should train when you're resistance training. A long time ago, back when I was a novice trainee and I had only been really working out for 1 or 2 years inconsistently, I got into what was then known as high intensity training, also known as single set to failure. Simply put, a philosophy that says you should do only one set of each exercise, one exercise per muscle group, max per workout, and take every set to total physiological muscle failure and not work out very often. And the people who believe this also generally believe that as you get more advanced, your training frequency should decrease because it takes you longer to recover from each workout because you can push yourself harder and your recovery capacity doesn't grow as fast as your muscles grow. So this got me great results for a while. I put on 10 or 15 pounds of muscle, and then I hit a wall. And I kept changing up my workouts and doing different styles of single set to failure training, but nothing worked. I just wasn't making any more progress. And so I finally ditched single set to failure, went to more traditional programs where you do 3 to 5 sets per exercise per workout, and usually like 2 exercises per muscle group per workout. And I started making progress again and building more muscle. And what I've since learned is that while people could be forgiven for believing in it at the time, what's become clear in the last 10 years or so is that the main driver of muscle growth is total training volume. The total amount of work that a muscle group does across the week, not a single workout, but over the long term, is the main determinant of how much it will grow. And as you get more advanced, your total training volume per muscle group needs to go up. And that's the opposite of what that high intensity training school tells you to do. They tell you to keep the same volume per workout and make the workouts less frequent as you get more advanced. And so a lot of people end up encountering the same problem I did, that it works for a while, but then you plateau because it's telling you to progress over time in exactly the opposite of the way that you should. So today I'm going to address the subject of what your training frequency should actually be. And the first distinction I want to make here is training frequency is actually 3 different things. There's how often you work out, period. There's how often you train each muscle group. And there's how often you do any given exercise. How often you train each muscle group is the most important, so I will save it for last. How often you should work out is quite simply as often as you're willing and able to do so, up to a maximum of once a day. Very advanced trainees might go over once a day. Everyone else should limit it to once a day tops. And if you can't do once a day, do workouts as often as you are willing or able to do so. And depending on how high your per muscle group training frequency needs to be, those might be very frequent full body workouts, or they might be a 2 or 3 or 4-way split. And then how often you should do each exercise. In my opinion, for most exercises, it should be once across all your workouts, meaning each individual exercise should only be included in one workout for any given workout split, meaning you do it at least once a week, but you might be doing individual workouts more than once a week. Like I am on a 4 workout split right now where I train 6 or 7 days a week. So I repeat each exercise about 1.5 times a week, average. And there are some exceptions I make to this for staple exercises like push-ups or planks, or for exercises that are used in the warm-up. I don't count them towards that, so I might repeat the same warm-up across all my workouts. But in general, more variety is going to be good for you. So I would, if you're training a muscle group multiple times across multiple workouts within your split, I would train it with a different exercise or 2 in each workout. So to the meat of this video, how often should you train each muscle group? As I've alluded to in other articles and videos, this goes up as you get more advanced. When you first start lifting weights, when you're totally untrained, it takes you about 3 or 4 days to totally recover from a workout. And again, this is at the level of the individual muscle group. So when you are first starting out, you should train each muscle group once or twice a week, no more than twice a week. You should have 3 to 7 and probably 4 to 7 days between workouts. I would say 4 days is probably optimal for most total newbies. 4 days between training the same muscle. When you get very advanced, you might recover within 24 hours or less, so you should train full body every single day. For intermediate trainees, your optimal per muscle training frequency is going to be 3 or 4 days a week or every other day, because you are going to take about 36 to 48 hours to recover from a workout. And you're never going to hit this timing perfectly. Like your timing is never going to be exactly how long it takes you to recover. I would err a little bit on the side of working out less often rather than more. I think my recovery time is about 36 hours. So my recovery time is about 30 hours for upper body and 42-ish for lower body, because my upper body is better developed. So I err on the side of training each muscle group every other day, or some of my best developed muscle groups will be 2 days on, 1 day off. Legs will strictly be every other day. So again, the optimal training frequency per muscle is going to be different for different muscle groups. It's going to be higher for your more well-developed muscle groups. But over time, if you train all of your muscles optimally, of course, the less developed ones are going to grow faster, and over time, it will even out. So to wrap things up, work out as often as possible, every day if possible. And that doesn't mean if you're doubling your training frequency, you're not doubling your total volume, because you're shortening each workout. So your total volume would go up maybe 20 to 30% if you double your overall frequency. But work out as often as you can, up to once a day. Use a variety of exercises, so each exercise is probably being used once across your whole training split. And most importantly, per muscle group training frequency, start that out at once or twice a week and gradually increase it to every other day when you're an intermediate and you've been training for a year or two. And it should go up to every day when you're very advanced.